Tracy here for Trinity Stamps. In today's video, we're going to be creating a fabulous little treat box. Let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so for today's project, I'm going to be using the Petite Prehistoric pals, and I have cut them in a rainbow of colors ahead of time just to keep the video manageable there. And then we're going to be using the milk carton die set. That's going to be our treat box, and I've already pre-cut these in a pretty blue. Then we're going to be using this retired set, but I'm sure if you don't have this, you have something like it. It is a slimline die set, and it's called the Great Outdoors Borders and Builders, and I'll be using the grass. And I've already pre-cut my grass, and that's a lightweight cardstock, about, I don't know, maybe 60 pounds. And then finally, we're going to be using the rainbow shaker, and I'm going to be using the bottom part of that. Plus, I use the clouds to cut out clouds. That's everything so far. We could add more later, you just never know. All right, first thing we want to do is put together our box. And so I want to go ahead and fold in everything that needs to be folded. And I just wanted to show you that when you're doing that, and know your paper, but some papers will split, and so it's a good idea to kind of give it a little stretch before you burnish it down so the paper doesn't split. If it does, you can just take a little bit of sandpaper and sand off the little parts that stick out when they split. It works just fine. So I'm going to burnish that one down, and then I'll burnish these guys down, and you can see that I'm just slowly and carefully kind of folding them back and forth, stretching out that paper, getting its fibers working for me instead of against me. So I can see that it just split a tiny bit, but it's not enough to worry about. So we'll get the bottom flipped up. And I'm just going to kind of go back and forth with that a little bit. And then go ahead and burnish. Yeah, that's not too bad, but you could, again, take sandpaper to it if you wanted to. And I'm going to go ahead and turn in these corners. So I wanted to show you how I do this. Actually, they're being turned out, but you know what I mean. Because those corners are going to be folded inwards, and then I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish my tabs that connect the two pieces. So you do need to cut two with this die. So many fun things you can do with this milk carton die. So I'm going to do the same with the second one. And those were done off camera. And now I'm going to stick these together so you can see how this goes together. And I'm going to leave it flat. So I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to go ahead and lay my rip and stick tape down on those little tabs, but I'll be using glue too, so never fear. So I'll pull off the backers, and then I'll add a little bit of glue. I don't want it to ooze out, but I do want it all the way up against the edges. So I'll go ahead and lay this down so that the lines line up on the milk carton. And I get it a little off, but it's not a huge deal. Just mess with it until you get it. That's the liquid glue. And then I'm just going to fold this one over, and I can see here that I may need to add more glue. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to flip these tabs in, pull the tape off, grab some glue, just lay my liquid glue down, and then I'm just going to lay this down so the whole thing lays flat. And I can see there it's a little crooked. A lot of times that's the operator. Whenever you're folding things in, even on score lines, sometimes they don't fold as neat as you would like them. So I'm going to leave this flat, and the next thing I'm going to do, and I cut this grass, it's about 1.25 inches total. So I want the light colored back behind, and the piece of an 8.5 by 11 is long enough. I'm just going to straighten out that edge to fit all the way around the box. So I'm going to use some tape. And this again is the easy rip and stick tape, but I'm also going to add a little bit of glue, and I'm only adding it to the bottom because, I might want to tuck some of my little guys in. So I leave that space to do so. I can glue it later after I put everything together. If there's any sticking out over the edge, just trim it off when you're done. So we'll add the tape here and the glue. We'll get that piece on. And then the darker green, which I cut about 1 inch, will go over top of it so that you've got 2 layers of grass, kind of a light layer and a dark layer. I'm just going to burnish this all down really well and make sure that there's glue everywhere, and then just trim off any excess. Yeah, I can see right there where I probably should have waited for the glue to dry, but you know, we're in a hurry here, and you're not going to really see it anyway. So for the second set of grass, I'm going to go ahead and just use glue. And I just want it at the very bottom and right there at the side so that, you know, it doesn't pop up where I don't want it popping up. We'll lay that down, and then I can just trim off the excess. And then I'm going to actually kind of wait for this to dry. Maybe. Maybe that's going to stick down. Maybe it's not. I'm just impatient. So I've cut the rainbow, and I've cut it 6 times. So I have enough to make 6 rainbows. But today I'm only making 1, and I'm going to go with the Roygabiv color configuration here. And what I'm laying that down on is just a thin piece of paper because I want to glue them to something, because I'm going to cut them apart. I'm going to go to all that work of gluing these down just to cut them apart, but that's okay. And I'm doing it up here at the corners so there's, you know, the least amount that I have to cut off as far as hand cutting. I'm going to cut the rainbow up too, but we'll see. I'll show you. So you just get these glued down, make sure they're stuck to each other. Try and get them as even as you can on the bottoms, but if you don't, no big deal, because I am going to need to trim some of that off in order to fit into my little milk carton space, and you'll see that in a moment. Get the green one down. Got to get the blue one down. And then lastly, the purple one. And you want to put that on thin paper, otherwise it's kind of hard to cut out that middle because it's an inner circle. You could probably use a circle die if you had one that would fit. So I'm just going to take and trim this rainbow off. And I'm just going to keep turning it until it's pretty straight. That's going to make it a lot easier to cut. And then I'll just cut around this outside edge. Just cut that white part off. I'm just using my little scissors for that, trying to get it as neatly as possible. And now I'm going to cut this rainbow in half. Notice I left the white in because it's much easier to cut out that little quarter piece than it is a half piece to get around the curve. Well, it might be easier for me anyway. So now this guy still doesn't want to stick, so I'm just going to add some more glue. Now you will stick, and I'll just lay it down here and quit messing with it until it's dry. And what I want to do is I want to stick my rainbows inside. And I don't really want them sticking up over the edge. You could have them sticking up over the edge if you want, but I don't want that. So I'm going to trim off my rainbow until it fits the height of the... Which way do I want it to go here? Need to trim it off a little bit more on that side. And notice I'm tucking that into the grass. There we go. And you might say to yourself, wow, that's a lot of work, T, for a treat box. But some people are just that special in your life. Let's see. Do I want this here? Yep, I do want it there. Let me tuck it maybe here. I don't know. Yep, that's how I want it. So it's, you know how when you see a rainbow and it's over mountains or, you know, it splits up, that's kind of the idea here. Well, in my world it is anyway. So I'm trimming off this piece of the rainbow and I'm going to put it on the other side. Needs to be trimmed off a wee bit more. You can save those pieces you trimmed off, they're pretty, and glue them to other things as like confetti or something. All right, let's sit my rainbow in. I just want to make sure there's some purple showing on my rainbow, best I can. If not, it's not. That's fine. Okay, so I've got a rainbow on each side. Now it's time to glue down my clouds. So I cut, I think, 8 clouds. I don't believe I'll use all 8 clouds, but I did cut 8 clouds. And I'm just going to glue them down. Dinos go on last. So we'll glue one here over the rainbow, and then we'll glue one here in the blue sky. Okay, and that one's kind of going more towards the top. Let's make sure my rainbow's all stuck down. Then I'll flip it over. I think I'll do this one kind of under the rainbow. Or behind it, I should say. And then we'll do this one kind of a little bit lower so that they're all kind of in different spots. Okay, so we've got our scenery. Now all we need to do is get our dinos down. And I'm just kind of doing a rainbow of colors, and I want 2 dinos on each page. And it's okay if their tails hang over, because when the box opens, just don't glue that part. So I guess that's the best way I can explain it. So if it's going to overlap, don't put glue on the spot that it overlaps. And I think I'll pop this guy up. And I'm only popping them up in the middle. I'm not popping around the tails or heads in case they do hang over. You don't want that foam tape showing. So you can see I left his head popping over a little bit, and that's just fine. Okay, so then we'll do the other page. And again, I'm trying to get this sort of in rainbow order-ish. I mean, you know, if I don't, I don't. That's okay. I'm not mad. So we'll get this pterodactyl up there. And let's see. I think I want a brontosaurus here, because the blue, the green, the yellow, the orange. So we'll pop up our little Bronte. I think that's what it is. When it comes to the rest of them, I have no idea. I'm just not that well versed in dinosaur, but aren't these cute anyway? Okay, so we'll get the blue one there. Then I'll flip it over. And because I glued down that foam tape, it may move around a little bit. I would advise wait for it to dry some before you start messing with it. So we're going to do the purple, then the red. So I'm going to tuck this little guy, and notice his tail sticking out. And then I'll pop up this spiky one. I don't know what he is, he's a spiky dino. And, you know, the likelihood you're going to give this to a kid and it's going to get ruined, just that's the nature of children. You just have to let that go. Why it's a good idea to sit around and cut out all your dinos and have them on the ready. So I've got the pink, and let's see. Looking through for the right purple, I believe. I think I already have a yellow on there. I guess I don't. Oh well, I strayed from the norm. Let's tuck his little feet here into the little grass. And let's put this Triceratops up. Pop him up on some foam. So I'll add a little bit of glue. And it's okay that his tail's hanging over, and you'll see that in a minute when I open up the box. You see? It's fine that they're hanging over. Now, if you didn't glue your box straight, it's going to go wonk on you at this point. And, yep, I should have waited for that glue to dry. I'm going to go ahead and glue these 2 pieces together. And I'm going to flip the box over. Get back on there, you. And I'm going to drop my magnet in there and wait for that portion to dry. And I'm just making sure everybody's stuck down. Now I'll go ahead and glue these flaps down. And I'll do the same. I'll pop my magnet inside, which will hold it all down while it dries. And that guy just wants to fall off no matter what I do. Let's add some more glue. There we go. Now all you need to do is close up the top and just leave your magnet in while it's drying. And I put clips so that the 2 pieces stay even. And then I'm just going to use my hole punch and just sort of eyeball 2 holes right in the middle, about half an inch apart from each other. Just checking for dryness. Yep, okay. So super easy. I'm just going to clip that closed for now, and I want a cloud or 2 on the top just to kind of make it a cohesive decorative box. We'll put this cloud here, and then I'll turn it over and put another cloud here. And you could put more than 1 cloud. You could put a lot of clouds if you want to. Okay, so there's our little box. All that's left to do is tie it together, and I'm going to make a tag for it. So I'm going to do that off camera, and then I'll be back. I did want to show you that I'm using the tag die set, the zip tag die set. I'm going to use the sentiment for you for my tag. Now I'll be back. So here's my little tag, and it's a fairly sturdy tag, and I'm going to take the clip off, and now I'm going to grab some baker's twine. And I really like the black and white baker's twine with colorful colors, and I always grab way more than I need just because I don't want to run short. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it through one side and then back through the other side. So, and I fold it over so I can get it through the hole easier. Just that folded edge is easier to poke through. And then I'll pull it so it's even, and then I'll just attach the tag onto the string. See what I mean? It's easier if you fold it, but I didn't do that time. I'm going to go ahead and tie this to tighten it up. Not too tight though, you don't want everything breaking. And then I'm just going to make a little bow. And then I'll trim off the edges or not, you know, just that's a personal preference. There's our little tag, and here's our adorable little treat box. You could stamp things on there. You could do all kinds of fun things. Let's see here. I don't know what I'm trying to do. Just kind of straighten out that tag. So we've got dinos on every side, rainbows and clouds and a blue sky and green grass. What couldn't be happier? Isn't that fun? I hope that you make one of these, and I hope that you share it on the Trinity Stamps Imagination Facebook page. We'd love to see it, or on Instagram. Make sure to tag Trinity Stamps so that we can see your projects and possibly share them. I hope you like this video. If you do, give us a thumbs up. Take care, everybody. Here's a couple of still images just to kind of look at it close up. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.